Your Excellency Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, President of the Republic of Malawi, First Lady Madam Monica Chakwera, to the Honourable Minister Eisenhower Makaka, and other distinguished guests, friends of Scotland, welcome. On behalf of the Scottish Government and the people of Scotland, welcome to Edinburgh. We are proud that you regard attending COP26 in Scotland as a homecoming for Malawi, and I don't know if it encourages you as much as it encourages me. I think it's tremendous to see so many young people here today, which I think is a great sign that the links between Scotland and Malawi endure. I think I spot school uniforms from George Watson's and Curry's. Have I missed anybody out? St Margaret's, you're all welcome. I don't want to miss anybody out. You have some of the finest schools in Edinburgh are represented here today. I'd also like to take a moment to warmly welcome Malawians virtually to Scotland from our MASP COP26 hub in Lilongwe. We are proud to be funding this opportunity for young people across Malawi to follow the COP26 deliberations online through the first hub of its kind. And I'm really delighted that so many of you have been able to join us today along with the Malawi-Scotland partnership team in Lilongwe itself. Now, although COVID-19 has had a huge impact on all of us globally, perhaps the one positive to come from it has been our greater use of virtual meeting facilities. And this has, of course, reduced our need for travel and our environmental impact. And I hope that you can play a full part in the discussions that are taking place today. Thank you also to the Scottish-Malawi Partnership for hosting today's wonderful event in partnership with the Association of Malawians in Scotland. And it's so nice to see so many of you here today, and also the Malawi-Scotland Partnership in Lilongwe. The relationship and connections between Scotland and Malawi have stood the test of time, and this is a bond that remains special to us all, to us in government, and to all of you here today who represent civil society in our two countries. I'd like to thank everybody here for the part that you've played in support of our special relationship, particularly over the past 20 months as the world has faced the very hard reality of a global pandemic. The energy and dynamism here today is great to see and a brilliant example of the commitment to the relationship between Scotland and Malawi. This week, of course, sees the key and historic moment for Scotland, Malawi and globally as the leaders of more than 100 countries around the world have been meeting in Glasgow for the COP26 summit. I look forward to hearing about Malawi's hopes for COP26 and beyond as we work together with urgency. We at the Scottish Government echo President Chakwera's clear message at the United Nations in September on the climate crisis. The starting point are these words: fulfill your pledge, is what you said, Mr. President, and you are quite right. The recent report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change could not have been clearer. Above all, we must secure commitments to emissions reductions that are capable of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees. The impacts of this are no longer distant or theoretical. Increasingly, populations experience extreme climate and weather events such as the increased frequency and intensity of drought and floods, and Malawi's heavy reliance on rarefied agriculture and a high burden of disease make communities extremely vulnerable to climate shocks, as you know. It's therefore vital that this summit delivers real progress. 12 years ago in Copenhagen, countries of the global north promised $100 billion of climate finance every year from 2020. In Paris, that promise was repeated. Now at COP26 in Glasgow, it must be delivered. This money must go where it's needed most. It must help the countries and communities like Malawi, now facing the worst impacts of climate change, tackle the causes and adapt to its consequences. We also believe, though, that the summit needs to recognise much more fully the fundamental issues of fairness and justice at the heart of the climate crisis. Here, as in other areas, Scotland is seeking to lead by example. We are proud of our world-first climate justice fund that works to support people to build more resilient and equal communities, and of our international development fund, which aims to tackle global challenges, including poverty, injustice and inequality. In this, a pivotal year for addressing support for countries in the Global South, we announced in our recent programme for government that starting next year, we will double our Climate Justice Fund, providing £24 million across the Parliament. Scotland remains committed to supporting communities across Malawi. We've been supporting through the fund the 2050 Young Malawian Climate Leaders, a partnership between the 2050 Climate Group and the Malawi-Scotland Partnership. This has built a network of young people in Malawi who will be active in advocating for action on climate change, and I'm pleased to welcome some of you here today. I'm also keen to highlight some of the achievements of the Climate Challenge Programme Malawi, which concludes this year. Supported since 2017, the programme has worked with over 40,000 people in 4 districts in southern Malawi. Successfully, we have trained 600 lead farmers in sustainable agroecology farming, improved access to domestic water for nearly 17,000 people, and helped 2,500 people move to energy-saving cook stoves. Of course, we recognise that in a global context, our fund is very small, but it is nevertheless important. And though if we are acknowledging head-on these fundamental issues of international fairness. In addition to this, Scotland's programme for government announced that over the next 5 years, we will increase our international development funding by 50%. I look forward to engaging with Malawi on this to seek input on how this funding should be targeted, alongside my colleague, Minister Gilruth, who is also here today. We've also committed to establish a new global renewable centre. This will help Scotland, Malawi and other countries to exchange knowledge and research on renewable technologies. The first virtual roundtable towards establishing this new centre took place on Tuesday, when Malawian expertise on renewable energy contributing to co-design it with us. Your Excellent President Chakwera, when you met with Scotland's First Minister on Sunday, she warmly assured you of the Scottish Government's ongoing commitment to our special relationship with Malawi, and I reiterate that commitment here today to this wider audience. As we move forward together in responding to the climate emergency and to building back fairer and stronger for our people, I echo to all gathered here today your 3 words declared at the United Nations General Assembly as to the starting point for progress. Let's work together. Thank you very much.